Hey guys, welcome back to some Guild of Guardians. Today's video, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different bosses that are now up within this game, and it's kind of crazy. You can see that our energy is already full. It seems like it's regenerating way faster than it did before, and a lot of players also noted that the sweep function is a little bit different in the loot that it's giving you. There's no, stage 1, 2, and 3 if you go through and beat a stage, and I want to go through a lot of things because, of course, the patch came today. So looking right here, we finished out and we completed all of the Frost Wilds, as you can see. Ran right through it. I knew at my level it would do pretty well. Now, once you go through here and you beat it once, you do have to beat it a second time to be able to go ahead and sweep this dungeon. And of course, looking in here, we are finally getting these humble material chest 3. That's right, we are getting a higher level chest of this out of the Frostmires. So you want to make sure when you're sweeping this, you can see we're actually getting quite a few of those. Not guaranteed every time. You can see we didn't get it here. A lot of players were also questioning the experience that you are getting for the commander level. It is still yielding commander experience. Even though it isn't showing up in here, I think it's going to be something they're going to change. But of course, we are getting the resources out of here. Now, one thing to note is when you're going in here and you're farming up all of these resources, is going from tier 6 to tier 7, which at this point, we have farmed up 2 and built 2 tier 7 items. It is a lot different with the gear. It is taking a lot more time within the gear itself to build it up and actually do all of the summons. And you also notice when you're coming in here and you're doing all of your summons and you're getting all of your loot, that this has also changed. You can see available 1 of 4 times. 4 times a day you can get this, and it is 80 energy. It's not 30 energy every time for 10 times. It is 80 every time you do this. And you can see we go right back up to 96, being able to go through here. So you can go through a lot faster. Before we look at the bosses, you can go through here a lot faster. Auto merging, even right here. I wish I could just click and hold, or if I could go ahead and just use all my experience in one, but we cannot at that point. So looking at the bosses themselves, first one, of course, we look at is the rush mode. Tirok is back. Want to make sure that you're getting this and you're using this every single day. If you didn't notice within the daily mission, that's right, we not only get our rush coins, but you get a crazy amount of EXP scrolls. If you are looking to gain levels in this game, EXP, of course, is something you need. Now, the other flip side of this is gold. You can never have enough gold in this game. Things are super expensive. And when you start getting into tier 7 gear, you will find out that it is even more expensive in there. Now, looking at here, there are a couple focus guardians, and you have to be aware when you look at the different bosses in here, you need to understand exactly what they do and how these bosses work. So of course in here we have Focus Guardians. You can see we have Tavros and Tirok in here. Also have Aurora. They are going to give you a 5% bonus on your score. Now looking at what Dread-Soaked Tirok actually does. Targets the closest enemy with an area of attack, dealing 240% as magic damage. Also reducing energy, meaning targeting the closest enemy with an area attack. You want to move a target away here. In here, this one I actually use Karuk. You want to get them away if he is using the area of effect and it is hitting all of your heroes. They're going to lose a lot of energy. You are going to get wrecked within this boss mode. Now, drains the closest enemy for 10% of the current energy and deals 110% attack as magic damage. Again, not really too worried about this because we are going to systematically put the closest hero that we have to Tirok. Then it deals 120% as magic damage to all enemies, preventing them from using ultimates. This, of course, is going to lock you out from the ultimates on this boss. And that's Rampage. A certain time of health is lost. The caster stats are increased, meaning you are in a race to kill this guy as fast as possible. And of course, looking right here, he is Umbrous. So that is the domain function or the bonus that you can get out of there. Now, Dread Power, when you're going in for the first time, you'll notice everything down here is locked. Now, you have to know your team. So thinking of my team, thinking of how they're built, right here, start a combat boss energy, gains 500. That is perfect. Remember, at the very end or the very beginning, the boss is not going to have, he can use the energy, he can ult one time. Once he ults the first time, you're getting a 5% bonus on everything there. Now, of course, you can go in here and do some max HP. We're just going to select these two right now. Go in here and do one quick run. Like I said earlier, we are running Karuk, and the question in here is we could run Tirok in here. We could also run Leah. So I'm actually going to drop Leah in here, and I'm going to go for Leah in the backside. So I'm going to put Tavros. I'm going to try Thorit in here the first time. Now also taking a snapshot. I mean, take a mental picture of what you have in here and know what you're going in here, what you're fighting with, because that is going to make a big difference when it comes to the next boss. And I'm almost wondering if we dropped Karuk out of here, if it would make another big difference. Now I want to watch the damage in here. Now we know Leah pretty broken, even has Medusa's Gaze on there. Thorit goes down super fast with the first ult. So did Leah. So this is going to be an absolute catastrophe. Being able to keep these heroes alive. And of course, going back and forth with these, you have to see what works. But of course, we wanted to come in here, wanted to get the first score done because that is going to unlock the rest of the Dread powers. So I want to try to save some of the allied powers. Now looking in here, Cinder Guardian's attack, which I only have one Cinder Guardian, which is Thorit. Not going to run Thorit this time, so we'll change it up a little bit with that one. Now during battle, Terra Guardians take 30% more damage. Have to know who your Terra Guardians. Strength Guardians, Agility. I am not running any Agility Guardians in here, so that makes a big difference. Now this 10 seconds, again, trying to run, you might be able to last 10 or 20 seconds. You might only get one of these very, very fast stuns really off before it's over. So start of combat, invincibility, that is always a given that you want to do that. Boss attacks have a 10% chance to stun. That's another one a lot of players like to add. And I don't know exactly how random that is going to be, but every time they attack could make a big difference again with RNG. Now, what we're looking to get out of here is probably roughly, and accuracy, I believe that is only physical damage dealers, which we only have Karuk. But what you're trying to get out of here is going to a point of getting really 8. I know I'm going to have to change these up. I'm going to have to see exactly what's going to make the most sense, but you can see we're at 11 million right here. Now we're going to go in here and we're going to go full out. And I'm wondering, I'm going to drop out Karuk and I'm going to see what this looks like not having our Terra Guardian in here. So let's go ahead. And I think Thorit is probably going to die out very fast as well. But that's okay, because you know what? We can try this again and again based on the build of our heroes. But I want to hop in here and kind of show you. So Rush, there we go. Let's see if we can do a little bit better. I feel like the first ultimate is where we're just going to get wrecked because of the damage this guy is taking. And I feel like a lot of very base heroes like Thorit, even there. So the first ult went off, of course. He went down very quick. Now Leah's getting just wrecked. Not seeing any heals. So again, this is going to be a little bit less actually. So it might make a big difference with Karuk actually taking the damage in there. We're going to have to figure out the buffs in here. But of course, you can pick up your loot. And then we can kind of see how bad we rank, which is horrible, 336. Usually rank in the top 100. Going to have to change out the formation. Make sure we have gear on a lot of different heroes to get this one done. Now, another question that we got, of course, is the new guild boss. So looking at this guild boss, this is another one you can see right here. We're at 3.5 million on the last run. But looking at the skills, unleash a spirit that slowly walks towards the enemies, dealing 34% of max HP. The higher the max HP, the higher damage this is going to be. So you're going to need some strong healing in here to be able to counteract essentially the damage he's putting out. Now this one, very important to note that enemies with this one, when it scrolls by, creates an aura around itself, reducing enemies' attack by 75% while they're in it. This means nullifying melee. Melee heroes do not work against the Dark Lords at all. And the reason being of this, the aura is up the entire fight. You have to use ranged. This is going to be your rangers. This is going to be your magic dealers. Anyone who goes into the actual aura that he produces, it's a little dark bubble. If the hero is in there, they have a 75% attack reduction, which honestly, short of this first skill, he doesn't do a lot of damage. And all enemies lose 2% of the missing HP every second. That can be nullified by some of these. There's actually a couple that do give some more heals, but overall, looking at 3.5 million damage that we did in here, it is about maximizing your damage input, or excuse me, your damage output that you're putting in here while keeping heroes alive. It might be running one healer to actually keep you alive, running your guild inspiration, keeping them alive. And you also note some of the little things. Guild inspiration is now for 2 hours. So we pop it in our guild 3 times a day. That gives us 6 hours of buffs out of a 24-hour time period. So that is really cool to see that they do have them up. Then we have another boss, which is the Glacial Guardian. Now, something that we note, as you can see, I haven't done this one in here. It's 5 days on the reset, but I did it on my baby account, on my mini account. We went in here and we ran through this, and very quickly, defense increases as HP decreases, also gains damage reduction bonus from the ice armor. So in here, doing damage is imperative. The defense is going to go much higher as the HP goes down. And the thing to note with this, continuously gains energy, immune to all control effects except freeze. Freeze is the only way you're going to take down the Glacial Guardian. I tried it again quite a few times. Any hero that has freeze, you are going to have to use, and you're going to have to use it. Takes increased damage when suffering from freeze. So you actually have to go through here and kind of rotate the freeze, which we'll look at the ranking in just a minute. And I'll show you kind of what that looks like. And then, of course, Ice Rift, target all enemies, deals true damage, overcoming defenses, and causes freeze. This, again, is another one. You will get frozen for him. Plus, you can freeze him on the Ice Throne. Now, looking at the ranking, you can see a lot of players doing well in here. And you'll notice the makeup and really the build of this. So looking at here, we do have the ability right here. This hero will provide freeze. Lisa, I think it's Lisa, will provide a freeze. So both of these are going to be your freeze rotations in here. And then you can also see that a lot of players are running Deriza right in here. And then we do have both of our new heroes and JD for that AoE heal. Even looking at Bushi, even looking at Azuna, it is pretty much the same team that we're seeing. We're not seeing many different variations. Now, the big thing with this is if you look at the formations we have in here, they are free heroes. This really makes a big, big difference when you're looking at the free-to-play players. And when you look at the build of what these heroes are doing, how they're being really built, they are free to play. When you go in here, you can see right here all of the event heroes. These three are the legendary ones that you want to choose. One for the freeze effect that is in there. One, of course, not only does he have ads when you get him leveled up a little bit higher, but he does a big defensive reduction, which, of course, doing extra damage. And then looking right here, JD is going to provide that aura of healing, or the really big aura that you see in there for healing. And then looking at the damage dealers, you could go in here and look at a couple other damage dealers, possibly a couple shielding heroes. Don't know, remember, it's only the first day in here for the heroes that you do have. Now, going in here again, a lot of players are adding in right here, and I forget the name of this hero, Marana, and that is because of the freeze. That is the big thing in here, is the freeze that she does. Randomly targets enemies. Each attack has a 25% chance to cause frozen or freezing the enemy, so you have a multiple time or an ability to have stacking freeze with both of the heroes that provides the freeze in here. You have to have these two. These two are the big, big priority for the event because you have to have the ability to freeze. And of course, there's going to be some RNG aspect. There's going to be a couple things in here that kind of come out and we really see. So guys, I love the patch update. I like the heroes that we're getting out of here. Dolvier seems pretty strong. We don't know exactly where the damage with Liska is going to be at as of yet. Now, also the updates with the quests, a lot of players were questioning. It only goes to 100, but there are a lot more quests. That's the big thing that they did. You can see Treasure 2 open 10 treasure chests. So you don't have to complete everything in here every single time, but you are getting additional loot from completing it in here a multitude of times, which is something you absolutely want to focus on. Now, Adventure mode, you can see defeat 100 enemies in the Ringstone Tower Challenge mode. When I click start, it takes me back here, which I don't think it's up yet because I didn't see anything that is the Ringstone. And I had to up my graphics again. That's why it makes it look epic as it sits right now. And even here, we're pushing to 90, getting through the achievements. Guild is doing incredibly well, leveling up quite a bit, getting a lot more of those achievements unlocked. And of course, the artifacts we are building as well. So a lot of stuff going on in Guild of Guardians. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.